This week in review, it's performing arts. Wolf Moon marks a decade for the Theatre of the Deaf. And the Swamp Boogie Queen gets the joint jumping. Hello and welcome to Review. In the last 20 years, Australian drama has come a long way the hard way. For 10 of those years, the Sydney-based Griffin Theatre Company has made an unparalleled and financially perilous contribution to that development. Sometimes the greatest barrier for budding playwrights is to imagine their words spoken. And even established writers admit that the most difficult stage can be getting it onto the stage. Pursuing its policy of nurturing new Australian theatre, the Griffin has just put 30 new plays and nervous playwrights through their paces during its annual D Week. And who knows, there could be another Heartbreak Kid or Michael Gow among them.
Theatre is about taking risks, and that's what I hope the Griffin is about too, and that's what D Week really exemplifies, the risk-taking aspect of it.
D Week's about development of new Australian plays, it's about devising plays, and it's about nurturing new writers' work and giving them the opportunity to use the platform of the Stables Theatre stage to present their work to people who are interested in what is happening as far as new Australian writers' work goes.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, it's me that's, if I'm going, like Stevie, Glenn and Brad, right?
The different stages of development that the plays come to the Griffin at vary from being a basic concept that somebody has about dealing with an audience, and they come into the office with a pile of sort of scrap paper or notes that they've made in relation to what they'd like to end up with, or a completely polished, professional-looking script bound and presented with a return envelope. And I've got shelves out the back that contain something like 200 or 300 scripts, and we can't get through all of them in a very immediate sense. It takes a bit of time, particularly if you want to work on it and contact the writer and organise a time when everyone's able to get there to work on it and read it and such. So it really does indicate to me very clearly, very strongly, that there is a great imbalance between the amount of work that is produced by writers and the amount of work that is produced by theatre companies.
Oh, it's happening all right, no doubt about that.
Oh, never mind the watch, it's not one
Doesn't it make you wonder what nature does?
The reading out of a script is usually the first terrible hurdle in anyone's career. The gap between sitting at home and typing it and handing it in, most people think is the hard part. The hard part is actually hearing actors speak it, because that's when you know it's either going to die or live. And D Week offers newer writers the most painless way of going through that first experience.
Shit! What's happening here? Looks like a dingo's breakfast.
Thanks.
How are you, Mum? She's good to see you again, you old duck.
I'm sorry I didn't get it to see you, darling, but with all the hospital lately and having to rest up, well, it just wasn't in me.
Huh? Just how bad are you?
Oh, I'm all right, don't you worry. Just got a bit run down, I reckon.
Yeah, well, Jesus, no one tells me nothing, do they?
I think the feedback that you get from an audience just sparks all the emotions that you work in during the rehearsal period. I mean, you're in a rehearsal room, you've got a couple of chairs and hardly any props, and you're feeding off the other actor. But as soon as you've got an audience that brings the whole thing up to a really heightened energy level.
I'm going to collect my salad bowls and then I'm going home. If you want to come by and collect your things, make sure you ring first so I can be out.
Hey, come on. I told you, just give me the keys!
No! If you want them, you're going to have to take them from me. And maybe you can get your brothers to help.
Hey, you gutless one, you just gonna let away, get away with that?
Really actually being in the theatre with an audience as they discover the play, as they go through that journey, that's when you see whether it's working or not, whether they're laughing in the wrong or the right places, whether they're drawing breath when you want them to be horrified. And that's something you have to be in the theatre for. You can't imagine that. You can only rewrite it so many times before you've got to have that. You know, otherwise it goes dead.
How do you feel about the fact that the plays are a representation of something that obviously people find very strong, feel very strongly about. It's a play that shows something. I find that it's that thing with a cliche. There's no such thing as a cliche that wasn't real to begin with, you know. And this play shows some really strong aspects of life. How do you feel about the negative responses that can elicit?
There are those people who feel that the subject should not be dealt with at all. I don't agree. Nor do I agree that such a subject should be devoid of humour, however grim and serious it is.
Never seen anything like it. What they done to her, they just ripped her apart. Being told that was what my boyfriend was supposed to have done. Well, they got nothing out of me, nothing. And they won't neither, because I believe in Brett, and I do not believe that he is capable of doing something like that. And shit, if you believe Glenn could have. Jesus, you're sick.
I'm not saying I believe Glenn did it, of course I'm not.
What we're dealing with in D Week covers a great deal of contemporary issues that are very risky. They're immediate things that society continually needs to deal with and react upon and address and find some sort of resolution to. And in very many ways, sitting through some of these plays and in fact developing some of these plays for production is a way of starting to deal with them on a broader scale.
Look at you. Mum could easily go through the whole of her life believing there was nothing bad in the world if you didn't want there to be. Nothing bad.
A murder mystery extravaganza